Tonight, in this edition of the 6 p.m. newscast on Equinox Television, a group of professional bandits dismantled in Yaoundé Central region of Cameroon, and also in this newscast, the accompanying measures put in place by the government following the increase in the prices of petroleum products in Cameroon, still not enough to transport us in the south region of the country. Plus, some residents here in the economic capital Douala tell us how they are fighting against cholera, which has hit the far north region of the country. The headlines of these stories and more just in a moment. Good evening to you viewers. Welcome to join us in this edition of the 6 p.m. newscast on Equinox Television. Let's begin right in the nation's capital, Yaoundé. As we announced in the headlines, a network of professional bandits are currently being detained in that part of the country. The gang of 6 alleged hoodlums are said to be specialized in the theft of high-class vehicles within and out of the nation's capital. The group was dismantled by elements of the National Gendarmerie in Yaoundé, as Roland Akon reports.
The operational command of the National Gendarmerie is in every which way bringing to a responsible end the theft of high-class vehicles, which is now on the rise in Cameroon. Gendarmes disrupted the threat posed by these alleged bandits, arrested them with these high-class vehicles plus 7 automatic pistols in Douala, Yaoundé and the greater north region of Cameroon recently.
Thanks to intelligence gathered from the population, we were able to trace the path of a network specialized in the theft of luxurious vehicles. The gang leader was arrested in Kuseri, while the others were arrested in Yaoundé and Douala. There was an exchange of fire on Douala Road when we were tracking them, and the arrests were carried out under the supervision of General Elokobi, who assigned us a mission.
Critically injured after a shot during gun exchange, one of the alleged bandits is receiving treatment in the National Gendarmerie Health Center. Car theft is not uncommon now in Cameroon. It is happening everywhere, and the situation is turning from uncomfortable to worse due to the high frequency.
I use this occasion to advise the population to take basic security measures on their vehicle by using wheels and pedal lock in addition to alarm system. Security measure and individual level, especially in front of church, hospital, cabarets, and other public places. They should also denounce suspects in their neighborhoods.
Like a respecter of rights and family man, General Elokobi advised these alleged bandits to change when they come out of their present situation.
That is Roland Akon there reporting from the nation's capital now with reports of cholera outbreak in the far north region of the country. Inhabitants of the economic capital Douala say they are doing all they can to prevent an imminent outbreak of the epidemic. They are taking preventive measures such as hygiene and sanitation against cholera. They were speaking after some over 1,000 cases of cholera were recorded in the far north region of Cameroon, with 50 deaths, especially just during this rainy season. Lizette Ndim, who toured around the city of Douala to get the reactions of some residents, her report.
The heavy downpour in the city of Douala this Thursday did not deter traders from exposing their goods even in the mud. Vegetables, fruits and other foodstuff get soiled in the dirt. But this does not prevent customers from purchasing them. This lady tells us that after purchasing the foodstuffs, she washed them very well with a drop of detergent in the water to kill every germs before preparing them. Like her, most other housewives say they are conscious of their hygienic condition at home. With the resurfacing of cholera in the northern regions of the country, these inhabitants say they have taken measures to ensure that they are not infected. This lady tells us that she adds a drop of disinfectant in all her washings, including the laundry of her children. The anti-cholera control unit at the New Bell District Hospital says they have not equally relented in their sensitization campaign against cholera within New Bell.
Lizette Ndimo, they're taking a look at how some residents here in the economic capital Douala prevent themselves from cholera. Now, bike riders in the Bolova, south region of Cameroon, want the amount paid for the obtention of licenses reduced. They tabled this worry, amongst others, during the visit of the Minister for Transport in that part of the country with transporters. Now, let's take a look at some of the difficulties that transporters in the south region are facing. That's in the following report. Commercial motorcyclists in the town of Ebolova have not ceased to complain ever since the increase in the prices of petroleum products in Cameroon. Bike riders that have termed the decision as unjustified are demanding for the harmonization of fuel prices in all the regions across the country. This bike rider in frustration explains that a liter of petrol is more costly in Ebolova than in other parts of Cameroon. He discloses that they are sometimes obliged to pay more than 650 francs or even close to 700 francs CFA for a liter of petrol. Another problem faced by these transporters is the difficulties in implementing the additional 50 francs increase in transport fares. They complain that customers are not collaborating. Minister Robin Kelly, who visited the South region in the wake of the fuel price increase to concert with the transporters, took time to explain to them how beneficial what he termed readjustment would be to Cameroon. He further declared that this decision would henceforth permit Cameroon to economize at least 35 billion francs CFA used annually to subsidize fuel in Cameroon. But bike riders say the accompanying measures put in place by the government is not enough. They equally want, amongst other things, the reduction of fees for the obtention of driver's license. Is there any need at all for Cameroonians to keep looking for greener pastures when the country is endowed with enough resources? The governor of the South region of Cameroon told some 24 Cameroonians that were detained some few months ago in Gabon to make good use of the country's natural resources. Jules Masseranjanga was speaking to Ebolova. He was speaking in Ebolova, rather, after the release of the Cameroonians who were spent or who had spent 8 months in jail, as for Hansen Chanji reports.
We were taken unaware by Gabonese soldiers, maltreated, imprisoned. This is a story of 24 Cameroonians who spent over 240 days in Gabonese prison at Oyem. They were arrested by Gabonese soldiers 8 months ago as they went in search of gold in Ovem, the forest between Vam village in the Jan-Lobo division of the South region of Cameroon. The 24 Cameroonians with ages between 20 and 27 years revealed they were taken unaware by Gabonese armies, maltreated and thrown behind bars. Gabon authorities say the arrest was due to the illegal exploitation of gold on their land. Sources say their release comes after negotiation with the Cameroonian government. The governor of the South region, Jules Masseranjanga, while welcoming the Cameroonians back home, encouraged them to live in their own country, which according to him is full of riches. The South Chief Executive Officer, however, told them to formalize their papers before leaving the country for greener pasture.
For Hansen Chanji, they're reporting now here in the economic capital Douala. The Littoral Regional Governor has disclosed that works over the Vuri River, which kicked off early this year 2014, are 15% gone. Joseph Bitiasomo also put the level of work done at the east entrance to the city of Douala at about 14 to 15%. He was speaking in the economic capital Douala today on the sidelines of a coordination meeting of some development projects here in the economic capital, and the government admitted, or the governor admitted, that a presidential decree to compensate the displaced victims of the east entrance to the city of Douala is still being awaited. We shall be coming back to that in our subsequent newscast. Now we take you to the southwest region of Cameroon, where the senior divisional officer for FACO has urged the Limbe City Council to provide the much-needed development demanded by the local population. Speaking during an administrative management and stores account session of the Limbe City Council, Zhang Chua equally called on the technical department of the council to ameliorate their output. Let's have the details with Davison Maimo.
The senior divisional officer for FACO Supervisory Authority for Councils in FACO Division, Zhang Chua, though satisfied with project carried out by the Limbe City Council in 2013, did not fail to make mention of the fact that laxity is being perpetrated by the technical department in executing its functions, citing hygiene and sanitation and the haphazard nature in which people are building, especially on areas marked as risk zone.
You must work as a team. You have to take advantage of the various partners in order to alleviate poverty in this municipality. So as let the general interest of the citizens of this city of Benchi be your priority.
Last year's budget of more than 5 billion CFA francs saw the City Council registering a 101% pass mark in meeting up with the budget target. According to the government delegate Motanga Andrew Monjimba, the City Council earmarked projects such as building a modern park at Mile 4, the construction of a building to host the much-needed fire brigade department, among other projects.
As far as I'm concerned, the first security at night should be lights. Did a lot of electricity, street lighting extensions to have our town lit at night. The challenges is that we have a difficulty in recovering our taxes, and it wasn't on roses.
Ahead of the government delegate lies a task of putting an end to clandestine transportation, clearing the major street of makeshift structures, among other instructions given by the senior divisional officer for FACO.
Still in that part of Cameroon, we stay with you, Davison Maimo. This time around, we talk about the convention to construct a historical museum as part of the Limbe West Bank Maritime project that has so far been signed. The project aimed at changing the Limbe Down Beach area to an international tourist destination was signed between the Limbe City Council and 3 associations based in Europe. Davison Maimo tells us more once again.
The convention signed, according to the government delegate to Limbe City Council, will see the construction of a museum as part of the 20 billion West Bank Maritime project to change the entire Down Beach area into an international touristic site. The 3 associations that signed the convention are AIMF, Association Internationale des Mers Francophones, whose objective is to assist member councils, mostly in developing countries. The second is L'Exono de la Mémoire, or better still, Shackles of Memory International, that has as interest to protect artifacts, and Route Chefferie, that has as goal for the development of each member city. The project that has already seen the putting in place of committee made up of civil society and traditional rulers is expected to see the evacuation of inhabitants of the area soon.
The museum will be co-financed by the Limbe City Council and IMF. This is just a component of that project, which entails the construction of a historical museum. Yeah, it is part of the project. So we can equally say that the Limbe Left Bank Maritime Project has taken off, yes, by the signing of this convention.
Upon completion, the 20 billion CFA francs project will see the construction of a floating restaurant, a shopping mall, tarring of the street, a conference hall of over 5,000 capacity, and the museum.
Davison Maimo there reporting from the southwest region of Cameroon. A brief note in news out of Cameroon before we go. Algeria's national airline, Air Algerie, has confirmed that it lost contact with one of its planes that was flying from Burkina Faso across the Sahara. Flight AH5017 was carrying 110 passengers alongside 6 crew. French Foreign Minister said 50 French citizens were on board the plane and that it probably crashed. Bringing us to the end of this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television. Thank you so much for your usual keen attention. Wishing you a blessed stay in the company of our programs. Good evening to you once again.